I just wanted to make a short video today, kind of addressing little shit. You know what I mean? Goes on in gaming. Uh, the ponies. These motherfuckers talk about not gaming, don't want to be gamers, have fake gamers, but these motherfuckers don't actually buy shit on the console they talk about. That's the part I always don't. I really don't understand. Like, let's go here. Here's the PlayStation app. Going to the games. These are games played. But let's go to the games I actually spent money on. All right. Yeah. Well, technically, I'll tell you. The Anthem. That's a demo. No. That's from EA Play. That's why. Same thing with Destiny. Detroit Human. Bought, paid for. Final Fantasy Remake. I think this is a demo. I'm pretty sure I did not buy this shit. I was not a fan of the demo I played. I'm not a Final Fantasy guy. I don't hate it. It's whatever. Ghost of Tsushima, bought it, did not finish it. Actually, it shows my stats in here. No, I'm not gifting anything. Let me see. Doesn't show. Where's my stats for this? All right, I don't see it that way, but whatever. See, I don't use this shit like that. But God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, this should be the collector's edition. I mean, it came with whatever. Well, yeah, it came. Well, you know what? It was separate. So there's the game and then the DLC. So it doesn't. I guess it's not labeled collector's edition, which is odd because the God of War one, I didn't buy the PlayStation hit list one. I bought I bought it when it was like, well, it was on sale for like $18, but it hadn't hit the the PlayStation $20 bargain bin thing yet. Infamous First Light, played that standalone. It was okay. I didn't finish it, but it was okay. Journey, I played it for like 2 seconds. I ain't give a fuck about that. Avengers, that's a demo. Neo, that's a demo. Spider-Man, I bought. Ratchet and Clank, I bought. Resident Evil 2 and 3, those are demos. Shadow of Colossus, I bought. Last of Us 2, I bought. Last of Us 1, I bought. Uncharted 4, I bought. Uncharted Collection, I bought. Well, no. Uncharted Collection was free with PlayStation Free Play or whatever. Play for free. Something, whatever. They were giving this shit away. That was before the pandemic, though. And Until Dawn, which I haven't beaten yet. So, I beat all these games except for Until Dawn, Shadow of the Colossus, and First Light, and Ghost of Tsushima. In Ghost of Tsushima, I'm like halfway through the game, so I won't finish it until I get an actual PS5. So these are all the games that I actually own, that I purchased for the PS4. I just haven't picked up the PS5 because other than continuing on to these games, there's nothing else that I really want. I mean, I enjoyed Spider-Man. I did. But Miles Morales is just more Spider-Man. Is it better? Sure. It can be seen that way. It's no different than looking at Gears and Hivebusters, right? If you're a Gears fan that really likes Gears, then getting Hivebusters is great. But is that the sole reason why you get an Xbox? Probably not. And the same thing could be said about Spider-Man. Like, if you're a Spider-Man fan or a PlayStation fan, you're going to get, anyway. But if that's just the sole reason to get a PlayStation for everybody else, I don't know. Ratchet and Clank is, I just wasn't a fan of it. It's not a bad game. It's just not a game. It's not a platformer. It's a third-person shooter. That's all it is. But to me, it's just not. It has nothing to do with Kitty or anything. It's just the puzzles aren't that interesting. I mean, really, the most interesting thing about the gameplay is the actual shooting. I mean, unless you just want to look at if you just like the graphics alone, which is fine. The graphics are nice, but after a while, then it becomes about the gameplay. I mean, that's with every game. Like, there's tons of games that look good, but the gameplay is just like, what the fuck is this? But this is Ratchet and Clank is just one of those games for me. Like I enjoyed it, what I played, but I didn't love it. I didn't think it was great. I just thought it was okay. You know, I felt that towards the end, I just felt like it was just a grind to beat the last character who was like a bumbling idiot. I don't know if he's even in the new one. The guy in the green suit. I don't even remember his fucking name. But I don't know. I mean, it's all right. The game was okay. But yeah, my favorite games on here. I think I'll tell you right now. Detroit Human is probably my favorite game that I played for PlayStation. Like as far as like, man, I could have jumped back. Like if they had more to the story, I could have played more of that. Spider Man is number two. I also enjoyed it. Um, I didn't think the story was that amazing for Spider Man. I thought it was okay. Cause I'm trying to remember I think I beat Spider Man first. So I beat Spider Man first. Then I beat Detroit. Was it Two Human or Human? What's it called? What the fuck does it say? Become Human. All right. Yeah. So I beat Spider Man first. I beat Detroit after. I'm trying to think what I beat after that. I think I beat Uncharted after Uncharted 4 after that. And then I think I beat God of War. I believe that's the order that I put. Not that I played it in, because the way I game is like I jump around, man. I don't stick on one game and just play it all the way through and then pick another game. I just don't, that's not how I play. But I'll tell you this, Detroit had me sucked into playing it majority when I was playing it, more than any other PlayStation game. And there's not much to it, as far as like gameplay, but the story was so good. Like it just sucked you right in, that to the point that I didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? Call it a walking simulator all you want. I mean, I didn't pay full price for it. Because I got I think most of the games that the Detroit, God of War. When did I get PlayStation? I think I got it default. Hold on. I'm trying to fucking remember. Hold on. I think it was 2018. Yeah. So I got it default. Like, so the only game that was brand new that I was playing was Spider Man. But for whatever reason, it was super cheap. Like it came out in Spider Man had came out in September, and the initial PS4 Pro bundles had already come out, and those were all like sold out. But then they had a bunch of these like standard PlayStation bundles. Because the PS4 bundle was the one with the red, console and the Spider-Man logo. The other ones were just plain Jane PlayStation console, right? So I got that one because everybody was like, oh, some of my Xbox brethren were like, oh well, it's not going to be that different. PS4 and the PS4 Pro is about the same and blah blah blah. So I believe that bullshit. I got the regular PlayStation, and I was sitting there looking at the games, and I'm just looking at God of War and Spider-Man, and I'm like, these games look ashy as fuck, man. And I had just gotten a 4K TV. I had just gotten a 4K TV. I just had got the Series X the year before. I mean Series X, the One X the year before. So I'm sitting there looking at these games these ashy games on my 4K TV, and I couldn't do it. I went back to the store, and the dude was asking me, he was like, what's wrong with it? I said, games is ashy. He's like, let me get that PS4 Pro. And I literally bought it that day. Plugged it in, played it for like 40 minutes. I think I put the gameplay on on my channel, and then I said, man, I can't do this, and I brought it back. Um, I traded it. I basically traded it in for the PlayStation Pro, and the way I got away with it was the PlayStation Pro came with um, Red Dead Redemption 2, which had like I think it had literally just came out, and I already had it for the Xbox, and it looked better on the One X, so it wasn't no point in me playing the ashy version on the PS4 Pro. So I just like, you know what? I asked the dude, I was like, can I trade this shit in? He was like, yeah, but you got to take it out the wrapper, because I was just gonna give it to him to trade it in, but GameSpot, they got the whatever their policies are. You can't do it that way because you didn't buy it there, whatever. So take it out the wrapper, hand it to him. Motherfucker still gonna look inside like I took the disc out. I'm like, bitch, you just seen me unwrap the shit. But whatever. So I give it to him. He puts the money from that onto the credit. So I wind up, technically, I just paid the additional $200 like I would have if I had just bought the PlayStation 4 Pro in the first place. Except for I didn't have to pay extra for Spider-Man. Because I think Spider-Man was at that point was, when I got him like right before Christmas. So it must have been like early December. So I think it was down to 20 something bucks because it was like during the whole holiday season where they dropped their prices. But I mean, PlayStation, they dropped their games quicker than anybody else. Xbox dropped them a little bit after, because I mean at one point I remember Halo 5 was more expensive than fucking God of War and Spider-Man. That shit was crazy. I'm like, how the fuck? Like, all these guys are like game of the year contenders of that year, and they're like more expensive than Halo 5 that came out like 4 years ago or whatever. But yeah, man, those were the these are the games that I got on my PS4, and when I get a PS5, when am I gonna get one? That's a good question. I don't know. Like Horizon, I ain't really like Horizon Zero Dawn. That shit, I finished this shit. I started it. I might have been the one I started after God of War, but it took it. One, it's a long ass game. Did I have Days Gone? No. You know what? I played Days Gone, and it should show it on here. I go to the games I play. I played it and I beat it, but I didn't like it. And this one I wasn't sure about. I bought it on disc. And I bought it on disc, and I was like, in the same thing for Uncharted Lost Legacy. I bought that on disc too. So I traded those bitches in. Oh, the Order 2. Shit, I forgot about that shit. And Killzone. I forgot about that shit too. Goddamn. Um, I forgot about those. Oh, shit, I forgot about Death Stranding. Yeah, because I beat that shit too. I totally forgot about that I played and beat that. This shit was, yeah. Like, I don't know. Death Stranding's a funny one, man. The story is what kept me around. Was it a great story? Not really. But it was compelling enough to want me to see it to the end, And then when I actually finished it, I was like, huh, okay. But like graphically, it was super impressive. Like graphically, it was super impressive. They always had these amazing, open scenes, and like that was the thing that was super impressive. But the gameplay wasn't all that. It just wasn't. I don't know. The game wasn't. It could have been more than what it was. I just felt it was kind of empty. Like you could tell where they were trying to go, but it just felt like a lot of stuff was missing. Gameplay wasn't polished enough. It felt like a concept. Like somebody had an idea and they started it and it was a concept, and instead of like flushing it all the way out, they just kind of was like, well, we ran out of time, so just give me what you got. And that's how Death Stranding kind of felt to me. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is my PlayStation library. So I mean, again, I might say that PlayStation has certain things that I don't like, which is fine. You know what I mean? But you can actually see I put money towards what my purchase was. I put my money where my mouth is, And I actually went out and purchased the games and played the games, and I can tell you the games that I liked. I tell you that Detroit was dope. I tell you that Ghost of Tsushima is a good game. It's not what I expected, but it's still a good game. You know, if you go into Ghost of Tsushima knowing that, look, fuck all that shit about being a ghost. You're not really a ninja. You can't really do no ninja shit. You're really basically just a samurai. You'll be fine. See, when I was looking at the trailers, I was more sold on, oh, I get to be a ninja. They're like, oh, you could choose to be a ninja, like approach this as a ninja or a samurai. No, 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 no. You are a samurai, and the only ninja type shit you do is you smoke bombs and bow and arrows and shit. You can shoot motherfuckers from distance. But other than that, you're a samurai. That's what you really are. Um, and Spider Man was good. And The Last of Us 2 was man, it's like one of those. Man, it's Fruitvale Station. I don't know if you've ever seen Fruitvale Station. Fruitvale Station is I forget the dude's name, but it's about a guy who got shot and killed by the police. It was like Ryan Coogler's first big Hollywood movie with Michael B. Jordan. It's a great movie, directed well, acted well, but the shit is depressing as fuck. And I can only watch some shit like that one time, and that's how I feel about The Last of Us. Like it is two parts to that. It's Last of Us is you, especially after you beat the game, you know where it's going. You know it's depressing. It's basically an end that's fucked. You have no choices. So even though you're going down a path that you were like, I'd rather do this instead of choosing that. If you're gonna complete the game, you got to go down a fucked up path. And it just, it's like eating fried chicken that's bad, like that's spoiled. Like the chicken was spoiled, but somebody fried it up in the best, most delicious batter. So then you're eating it, but it's spoiled chicken. So at the end of the day, you're gonna be fucking shitting your brains out at the end, and that's basically what it is. Like, you know, it's a half-ass. It's a good experience, but it's depressing. You know, it's kind of like when my wife watches those Lifetime movies with them fucked up endings. It's like, what this. We always complain about how depressing this shit is, but it's Lifetime. You know this shit's gonna be depressing, but she watch it anyway. But yeah, that's how I feel about The Last of Us too. I still enjoyed it for what it was. I just don't want to play it again. I just don't. I mean, yeah, if it had a multiplayer, that would be the thing that gets me to play The Last of Us again. Because everything else on the game was dope. Like, the acting was beyond what I've ever seen in any other game. The graphics were, top notch. Animations and combat and all that. Like everything from the first one, they improved. It's just the way the story was. It's just so fucked. It's not something I want. Like I don't see how motherfuckers could play that shit over and over. And the first one, sure, because it had a resolution that was I could deal with that. You know what I mean? But this one is just it's too fucking depressing, man. It's just to be playing through that shit, And the shit drags. It just takes too long to get started. Like you gotta for like the first hour you gotta do a lot of like walking and talking and walking. You go talk to this person, go talk to that person. Then you finally get into the fray. All right, I'm fighting. And then boom, now you slow down. See, when you're in the game and you're just learning all this stuff from the beginning, like brand fresh and new, you don't know shit about shit. It's cool because you don't know any of this stuff. Like you have no idea of what's going on. After you played it and you already experienced all that and now trying to play it again, man, that shit drags because you can't skip none of that shit. There's a lot of like the little walking yeah, the cutscenes you can skip, but like the actual walking and talking sections, you can't skip none of that shit. You have to go through them, And that shit is where it's like, oh my gosh. Oh. It's like, damn, man, I just want. And yes, you could do the chapter shit where, the combat selection where you could just select combat sections and just beat those. But there's no like, you don't get shit for that. They don't have no point tally, no, beat this in like a certain amount of time and get an achievement for this shit. Not from what I saw. Like it wasn't nothing that was obvious. Maybe it's you just beat it and it's like, oh, you beat it at the end. It's like, oh, you got it, you get an achievement, but outside of getting an actual achievement for it, I haven't seen anything in the game that says, all right, there's a leaderboard for it or something like that. I didn't see it. Shadow of the Colossus was cool from what I played. It's just mad open. So I didn't beat it, but I got like, I forget how many Titans they are, but I think I got like 4 or 5 of them before I kind of set it down and was playing other stuff. Because, I just basically, I'm an Xbox dude, bro. I mean, that's my primary place where I play, so there's mad games over there. Contrary to what you believe as a PlayStation guy, there's mad games over there because I got to play. I get all of the Xbox games, I get the indie games, and I got the third-party games. You know what I mean? Like, I play I play games, bro. I don't limit myself to just AAA games. I'll play anything that's appealing. I'll play. Like right now, I'm playing Manu. That's my shit right there. You know what I mean? That's not no AAA game. That's just AA. But it's fun as hell. You know what I mean? Like in those type of games, you wouldn't. I don't even see why you would need Maneater to be AAA. Like it wouldn't even make sense to me. It's best served as a AA game. That's where it's gonna get its most shine. The budget makes more sense for what you're doing there. And it's dope. A dope experience. But to be like, oh well, if you don't have AAA, then it's not nothing. Like, bro, I don't live by that way. You know what I mean? Like I play all kinds of games. Like I don't limit myself to just, the 2 or 3 games that come out for these consoles that are AAA exclusives. You know what I mean? Like that shit don't make no sense to me. But again, in due time, I'll probably get a PS5. It's just right now, there's no rush. I mean, shit, I got so much shit on Xbox to play. My backlog is beyond ridiculous. I mean, beyond ridiculous. And every other day they keep on fucking doing boost modes and shit. The shit that I didn't even beat. So then there's more incentive to beat those games. So shit, listen. Believe that Xbox has no games if you want. That's your business. Whatever makes you sleep well at night. If that makes you sleep better at night, cool. You know what I mean? But my ass be gaming, bro. All right, man. This is your boy Live Wire. I holler at you. Peace.